Well, welcome to 4C Visions. I'm your host, RV Hype, Director of Communications at Central Carolina Community College. In this edition of 4C Visions, it is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Emily Hare, Executive Director of the CCCC Foundation. A native of Pinehurst, Dr. Hare received her Bachelor in Arts Communications degree from Wake Forest University, her MBA from Pfeiffer University, and her PhD in Higher Education Administration at the University of the Cumberlands. Dr. Hare and her husband Bud have two children, Delaney and Caroline. Well, good morning, Emily. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, RV. How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's glad to see you today, and we want to talk a little bit about the foundation. But first, can you share with our audience about your job and your duties here at Central Carolina Community College?
Sure, that's not a problem. I will say I think I have one of the best jobs on campus. I get to change lives, and then we're all here in the business of changing lives, but I get to help eliminate the financial barriers that our students do see on a pretty frequent basis here at CCCC. So my job is to run the foundation, which is the 501c3 nonprofit branch of the college. We administer our scholarships and endowments. That's the biggest bread and butter I think you'll see from the foundation. So for folks who are not familiar with an endowment or a scholarship, it's the financial awards that we are able to provide to help our students with tuition, fees, and books. They can range anywhere from $250 to a full ride. We have two that are pretty much a full ride for students here. So it's my job to oversee those. I oversee the administration, the selection of our students for our endowments, the investment management of those funds that are given to us. I also oversee I think it's over 200 now, restricted funds that our college has. Most individual academic programs have restricted funds. Our student clubs have restricted funds with us. We have multiple award funds that I administer with our unrestricted funding. So basically what we always like to say is we provide the funding for everything the state budget doesn't cover. So, we helped install the bleachers in the gym so that people have a pretty nice place to sit. We've established a food pantry on all three campuses now through our student, through CC Cares, which is another two funds that we administer, which is for our Cougar markets. And then we also administer a Dreamkeeper fund, which is our student emergency fund. So we solicit donations from outside the community, from private individuals and foundations and companies. And then we receive the money and then turn around and give it back to our students in the college to provide academic excellence.
That's outstanding. Well, Central Carolina Community College has been blessed to have so many donors who believe in the mission of the college. You must draw a great deal of satisfaction with working with those wonderful individuals who so graciously give of their financial resources to the college.
That's one of the best parts of my job. I mean, working with our students is phenomenal, but the love and care that I see from our donors on a daily basis is it just makes my heart just burst with pride and with warmth. We sent out an email early on in the pandemic, saying our students need help. We need, it's not just those tuition and fees, they need food. They need help paying their power bill. They just got laid off, and the response we got from our faculty and staff donors, our faculty and staff individually raised almost $10,000 to help our students. And then the love we get from outside in the community, it's just, when I was really worried when the pandemic hit that we were going to take a tank in donations and that I wasn't going to be able to help our students at the rate we had pre-pandemic. It was a false. I mean, I have just been humbled at the support we have gotten to give to our students through this pandemic. And, 2022 has started out, we've got 6 new endowments and scholarships just in the first 3 weeks of January alone. So I can't say thank you enough. Thank you. It sounds so cliche, RV, to our donors, but that's the best word. I mean, we are so grateful because of them. Then I can go to a student and say, hey, I've got $500 to cover 2 of your classes. the relief that you see on their faces when I do get to see them is something that you'll never forget. I remember coming in here one time, and a young man came in, and he had no money. He wasn't going to be able to go to school. He couldn't continue on. I said, "Wait, did you go to the Boys and Girls Club?" And he said, "Well, yes, ma'am, I did. We have a scholarship for a Boys and Girls Club alumni." So I was able to provide that for him. Here's a 6'4" young man, 18 years old, crying in my office because he was relieved to know he could continue on. So the donors realize the impact they have, and they're paying it forward. And that's what I hear. Mr. Eugene Moore, who just gave an incredible amount of money to the college, and Joe Childers, who I just met, and then Ken Lau, they all say the same thing: is I was blessed. I want to pay it forward. And they are paying it forward and changing lives. And it's to be around people that are that kind-hearted and that generous is uplifting, rewarding, and it keeps me humble as well. And it's one of the best parts of the job.
Well, certainly our donors are a tremendous blessing to the college and to our students. And I wanted to ask you about that. The foundation has awarded hundreds of scholarships over the years, which must bring you special delight, especially when you hear of the success stories of those students who have been assisted through the foundation.
And that's why we do what we do. It is that success story. We had one. It makes me chuckle because it deals with our board chair of our trustees. He was down in Pinehurst, and this young lady was doing. She was taking his blood or doing something like that, and they were chatting, and he said, "Well, where'd you get your degree?" And she said, "Oh, CCCC, and I got a scholarship, and I did this, and I did and just went on and on and on." And Julian, if you know Julian, he just smiled. And so you realize that the people we are training and helping through scholarships are the ones that are fixing your HVAC equipment, the ones taking your blood. I know I had a personal experience where I was down at First Health delivering my two children, and in walked some CCCC students, and I knew off of fact one of them was a scholarship recipient. So I knew I was in good hands. But you see these students, and you see the success stories. I know we have several basketball players who have gone on who have been scholarship recipients academically, and they have gone on to have success now at the 4-year. Jamar Butler is one that comes to mind. Jamar was an outstanding student here, graduated last spring, transferred over to Ferrum, and is now playing basketball. Same with Jackson Reed, academically qualified for a scholarship and is now playing at Mars Hill. So it's just been incredible to see their transformations. And then, like you said, you've got scholarship recipients who then go out and start businesses around here, and just they're transforming our community. But they couldn't do it some of the times without that scholarship help. So it's just I get all the warm and fuzzies when I think about it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, you have also been blessed to have had a extremely supportive foundation board of directors. What is their role and how do they assist in your efforts?
So the foundation board is technically who I report to. They are phenomenal, extraordinary local citizens here. There's 32 of them that come from Harnett, Chatham, and Lee counties. They're all local businessmen and women. Linda Turbeville from Sanford is my current board chair. She is extraordinary. So their job is they help us find funds. Some of them help with our golf tournament fundraisers, finding sponsorships to help generate unrestricted funds. Other of them are out asking in the community. Linda is infamous for her $250 ask, and that $250 ask has turned into bigger amounts multiple times. So basically their job is to be representatives of the foundation, to be me out in the community. There's one of me, 32 of them. So when they're out and attending chamber events or at a golf tournament, or they're just at dinner and they're talking to their local waiter or waitress, they are the ambassadors for the foundation. So some aren't comfortable with asking for money, but they'll send me a name. Hey, I talked to so-and-so. Contact them. I think they might be interested in starting. What's also cool is they are out and about in the community, and they'll send me an email. Hey, I talked to this student. They're really struggling. They need some financial help. do you mind reaching out to the student, and then I can connect this with the student and figure out what's going on, and if we can provide some assistance, whether it be through a scholarship or if they need Dreamkeeper help or they need food. So it's kind of, they are my ambassadors and out and about in the community, and they are just, I can't rave enough about my board. They're incredible.
Well, we are certainly appreciative to all of the board members that serve to help our students and faculty and staff be the best they can be. Emily, the foundation has a number of events that are held throughout the year, including 3 successful golf tournaments in the college's service area of Chatham, Harnett, and Lee counties. What is the mission of those tournaments?
So I'll go ahead and give you the dates for 2 of the tournaments for folks watching who might be interested in playing. The Harnett County Golf Classic will be March 31st. Pray for warm weather. And then the Chatham County one, we just finalized it yesterday, will be May 4th. Lee County date is to be determined, but will be in mid-September. These tournaments raise unrestricted dollars for us, and unrestricted dollars are the goal. They are the ultimate gift. So we love endowments, we love scholarships, but when someone comes to us and say, here is, $500, $1,000, $20, please do with it what fits best with the college's mission. It is golden. So unrestricted awards help us do faculty and staff tuition reimbursement. They support our Skills USA students. They support professional development here at the college for our faculty and staff. We help Touch a Truck, the event that was pre-pandemic held. We sponsored that. The list goes on and on and on about what we can use our unrestricted dollars for. We've helped with new student orientation, transfer or National Advising Day, and college transfer fair. Trying to think, there's been so many different things we have used the funding for, and it's not always tremendous amounts. Sometimes they just need $200 to do it, but it gives us the freedom to support the college wherever we best can use the funds at that time.
Great. Well, another popular event sponsored by the foundation is the Cougar Express. What is that event all about?
So that might be my most favorite event of the entire year, because Santa comes. Santa, you channel your inner Buddy the Elf. That actually, it's one of my favorite stories to tell about how that got started. Back in before I came to CCCC, I was working at a small private college in Alabama, and they had Santa Claus came on a fire truck, and then they had a service afterwards. They were affiliated with the Methodist Church, which we can't do that here. But I went to Dr. Marsh and I said, why don't we do something around a basketball game? Let's have Santa come visit. And so we called the North Pole, and Santa said, sure, I'll come visit. And what started with about 20 folks, and the next year it grew a little bit bigger, to now where when we do have the tree lighting on campus, we've had 350 folks come see Santa come in on a fire truck with the Lee Senior Marching Band. He lights his Christmas tree up, and the kids get to see him, and it's just magical. But then the pandemic hit, and I called Santa. I said, Santa, you have to still come. Like, these kids in Sanford, they've got to see you. We need to see you. We need positivity. The college wants to do something. So Santa said, well, how about this? I'll park my sleigh on top of the Civic Center, and I'll sit underneath that portico, and you just have folks drive through to see me. I said, that's fantastic. So we called up the folks from the Polar Express, and they let us borrow their locomotive and their conductor. And the Grinch even decided to come down from his Grinchy old place and brought Cindy Lou Who with him. And, 260 cars drove through this past year to be able to meet Santa and see him. And the smile that you get on those children's faces is just, it makes it all worthwhile. And with 2020 and 2021 and now going into 22, we needed a little hope. And that event provided a lot of hope and goodwill and some cheer for kids who are going through the unimaginable. I mean, I watched my own children suffer through virtual school and just everything they've gone through, and to give kids a little piece of normalcy that, hey, here is Santa, he's still here and he's coming to see you, and they turned in their list. And then the best part was Santa then replied to their letters. And I know my 2 girls got so excited because here was this letter from Santa. And it's just a magical event. We're not sure if Santa will do a drive-through or if we'll go back to our tree lighting next year. We're waiting for him to make a decision, but it's probably my most favorite event that we do because we give back to the community that gives us so much.
Well, it's certainly a special time in the college when that event is held each year. No question about that. Well, Dr. Hare, thank you. You've been most informative. You can learn more about the CCCC Foundation at www.cccc.edu/foundation, or you can contact Dr. Hare at ehare, that's EHARE, at cccc.edu. And we will return to 4C Visions right after these messages.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at shecanstem.com.
Welcome back to 4C Visions. Our guest today is Dr. Emily Hare, Executive Director of the Central Carolina Community College Foundation. Dr. Hare, the CCCC Foundation is well known for the scholarship opportunities that it provides students. But another area in which the foundation has been involved is the James French Dreamkeeper Fund. What is this fund and how has it served our college students?
Sure. The James French Dreamkeeper Fund is game changing for a lot of our students. Like I mentioned earlier, we try to eliminate those financial barriers that our students have so they can persist on. And it all started back in 2016 when I think it was Hurricane Florence hit, and we realized our students they were going, okay, I can pay my tuition or I can replace the food I lost because power went out. I can pay my tuition, but I've been out of work for 5 days, so I don't have the money to pay my tuition, so I'm just going to have to drop out. And we took it to the trustees and with the help of Linda Scoletti, and we said, our students have a problem here. They can't pay their tuition. They've been out of work 5 days. And 5 days, that doesn't seem like that much, but if you're minimum wage and hourly worker, 5 days adds up really fast. And if you were depending on that $250, $260, whatever it was, to make that next tuition payment, all of a sudden, okay, it's either pay my tuition, replace this food. You're going to replace that food. So we the fund got started, and Mr. French really got behind it and became a frequent donor to providing these funds for our students. I don't know if I had the totals pulled up, RV, and then I hit the wrong button and it cleared it out. But we have helped, I'd say, over 500 students with Dreamkeeper funding since it started, probably even more. The maximum a student can receive is $400, but the average is roughly like $368 that a student receives. We've paid, I know to date alone, I paid car insurance, I paid a rent bill, an internet bill, a power bill, and a water bill. And these students are very much, they're struggling. And the thing is, though, if we can pay that power bill, so that $268, they can now use it for tuition. Or we've made that tuition payment for them so they can go buy the food they need, or they can keep their lights on. And we have over a 70% persistence rate for these students that are receiving these funds. So it's just been incredible, the power of, a lot of people like $200, $300, that's not a lot of money. But for our students, that's a lot of money. So being able to provide this assistance has just been a game changer. And I know when I get to email the student, you've been selected, please send me your bill. So we do pay the vendors directly. We don't send the money out to the students. I'll pay Spectrum or PwC. But the emails I get back of gratitude, it reminds me of why we keep doing this fund and how valuable it has been to so many students over all 3 counties.
Well, and it has been an important mission of the college to help our students succeed in whatever ways that we can help them. And certainly the foundation has played a most important role, and our donors, in making that happen. Another one of the missions that the foundation has been involved in is the Ruby McSwain Cougar Market. So what is the Cougar Market and how has it served our students?
So it kind of came out about the same time when we realized our students were having to replace the food they lost. And for most of us, we just go back out to the grocery store. But like I mentioned earlier, well, they don't have the money. So it started, if you've been to my office, you know that right outside my door, there are 2 bookcases. And so we started small. We just had some canned goods and just some granola bars, nothing big, but our students were starting to come by. And Dr. Marchant tells a story of a student he saw in the parking lot. And early in the month, he'd have a ham sandwich. But by the end of the month, he was just eating a piece of bread. And we did I think it's ESMI study, and it found that it was like 70%, I think, I can't remember the exact percentage, but a large percentage of our students were food insecure. How in the world can you study if you're worried about where your next meal is coming from, or you haven't had a meal in 24 hours, you're starving? So we were like, we've got to do something about this. And so it went from a small little pantry outside of my office to now we have the Ruby McSwain Cougar Market here, the Carter Cupboard in Chatham, and then another food pantry in Harnett. And so what we've done, we have refrigerators and freezers that are in each, except Harnett does not have one yet, but we have the fridges and the freezers. We've partnered with the Eastern Food Bank, and it is basically like a small grocery store for our students. It is free of charge. They can come in. Now, I can't guarantee what's in there every time because it really just does depend, but we have your typical canned vegetables, canned fruits, macaroni and cheese, peanut butter, jelly. But because of the refrigerators, we're able to, when we can, stock protein. We freeze chicken, salmon, breads, Lunchables. We have just little grab and go things where they can pick up a Pop-Tart or a granola bar. But then we've also gotten to toiletries. We have diapers, we have wipes, we have feminine products, and deodorant. Feminine products and deodorant are 2 of our fastest things that go off the shelves. Shampoos, toothbrushes, toothpaste. And then we even started thinking more, okay, well, we've got this meat and we have a taco kit, or we've got this, we need something else. We need spices. So we stock oils and spices and can openers and plates. And so if folks watching, if they're cleaning out stuff, if you have the little silverware packets that come like you get with takeout, please collect them and come and call me. If you go to a hotel and can get the extra shampoos, please collect them and call me and I'll come get them. It lets our students, basically, they can go in. We just ask for their student identification number so that we can keep track of the number of folks coming through for grant funding purposes, but they are allowed to come in. It's done privately. Brad Baker manages it for us. It's open Monday. The one here on Lee campus is open Monday through Friday, 10 to 2, and by appointments. And they just come in, they grocery shop as needed, get what they need to for their family and for themselves. And that's it. No questions asked. And it really has made a difference in the hunger levels of our students, but also to know that, okay, I have no money. I've got to get a food for my 5-year-old on the table. They can come as long as they're a registered student and get that food. So it's been something I never thought we would need, but it's becoming more aware all over the United States that these food pantries are needed on campus. And, I do talk about, you hear K-12 students, they have backpack pals, they have this, they forget about our students. And I don't want that to happen. So we're very fortunate that the donors have stepped up and helped support that initiative.
Well, we are certainly glad that we're able to help the students in that way. Dr. Hare, it's obvious that the foundation has been important in the success of our students. How does the foundation support and assist our faculty and staff?
Well, they're our bread and butter as well. We couldn't do what we do without the phenomenal faculty we have here on campus, and our staff is incredible as well. I know Dr. Chapman was showing some folks earlier this week how many of our faculty have made it to finalists of Teacher of the Year, Instructor of the Year in the North Carolina Community College system. So we want to be there to support them. So we do try to provide funding getting tongue-tied. Funding for professional development conferences if they need to. And I can't send folks to Australia or anything like that, but happy to assist folks if they're wanting to go to, like, our student activities coordinator is going to a conference, I think in Texas. I don't know where she's going, but we're going to support her there. We send our nursing faculty to different conferences, our sustainable ag folks to different places. So we have that in place. We also do tuition reimbursement. We are always challenging our faculty and staff to continue to educate themselves. I mean, we're in the business of lifelong learning, so our faculty and staff, that's what they do too. So they can receive up to $1,000 a year for tuition reimbursement if they are obtaining a higher degree than the one they currently have. We also, a lot of people don't know this, when we do have our faculty of the year, staff of the year, adjunct of the year, there's like two or more of the years, we provide the funding for that for our faculty. It's just a small way from the foundation to say thank you for what you do. We help support the employee of the month that we have. That funding runs through the foundation. I'm trying to think, there's so many different things that we do because we know that without the best faculty and staff, we wouldn't exist. So, our students deserve the best. And so we need to make sure that we give our faculty and staff the support they need to be the best they can.
Well, and obviously all of the work that the foundation does involves finances and money. There are various methods of giving to the foundation. What are some of those methods?
Sure. It was funny. I was actually in a call earlier with some of my colleagues from all over the state, and they brought up Bitcoins, and I was like, I am not ready to go there yet. So the simple ones are the ones that are most obvious: cash and check, credit card. We do all three very frequently. A lot of folks don't realize that we can accept real estate. We accept it, and then we can turn around and sell it. We accept stocks and bonds. We do that through our investment company. They also are planned gifts. If they want to do a planned annuity or want to leave us in their will, that's another way that we can do the giving. Traditionally, the most obvious are cash, check, and credit card. We even have PayPal. So however, folks, whatever is easiest for the folks. We also have gift in kinds, which doesn't mean they can't financially give you something, but they could give you their car. We have several cars that are donated annually to our automotive restoration program. And so folks are like, I can't give you $4,000, but my car is worth $4,000. So they donate the car instead. So variety of different ways, and I will work with whatever our donors, whatever they have in their mind, I will work with them the best I can.
And I know that one of the methods of giving that you work with are people that would like to establish an endowment in honor or in memory of others. What are the parameters for that to occur?
Sure. So there's two types of scholarships that we do offer. The first one is a restricted fund scholarship. So that's very much an in and out scholarship. You send me money annually, I turn around, award it to the student. I call you the next year. Hey, are you able to fund it again? And we go back and forth. Minimum is $250 for that scholarship, $250. Like I said, that's an annual one. It comes in, it goes out. Our donors are very comfortable with that because a lot of people think you need thousands and millions of dollars to give, and you don't. Really, $250 covers one class. Our endowment has a threshold of a $10,000 minimum before we can award it. This is not something you have to come to me and write me a check immediately for $10,000. Now, if you can and you want to, have at it. I love that. It's wonderful. But we can also work out payment plans. I have several donors who are making payments annually on it. They're making payments monthly. And one of my favorite things that has really become a trend is they're like, okay, I want to start an endowment. I can't do it now, but I really want to make an impact now. So like, for example, they'll give me $150 a month. 50 of it goes towards their restricted fund scholarship. So they're providing an annual $600 scholarship. And the other 100 goes to the endowment. So they're putting $1,200 towards an endowment annually. So within roughly 8, 9, 10 years, their endowment will be done, but they've had immediate impact on our students. So monthly giving has become something that's very common, but it also makes what's $10,000 broken up into very small chunks that is much more doable for folks. So it's $10,000, yeah. So
if there's someone in our audience who would like to contribute to the foundation, how would they go about doing so?
Call me, just call me or email me or text me. It doesn't Facebook message me. I get those requests sometimes too, and that's completely fine. Email is probably the best way to get a hold of me, or calling my landline here, which is, I think you mentioned, it's 919-718-7230. And if I'm not here, I will return your call as soon as I am able. And, like I said, if they can be as specific as they want, that I want to give to this fund for this, I want to give the Dreamkeeper Fund, or I want to set up a scholarship for a Chatham County student. Or they can say, hey, here's $10, here's $10,000. Please help the most students you can help. So it's really up to the donor.
And once again, Dr. Hare's email address is ehare@cccc.edu, and I'm sure she would be glad to get your emails, and you can ask her whatever questions that you may have regarding giving to the foundation.
And RV,
Dr. Hare,
I forgot one thing if I can mention. We will be actually starting to do athletic scholarships next year. We are moving to Division II in men's and women's basketball. So sometimes folks are interested in giving an academic scholarship. Well, we couldn't do athletic scholarships until next year. So if someone is interested in athletic scholarships, that's just a whole nother ballgame we're opening our doors to. Excited about that one too.
Perfect. Dr. Hare, what is your message to our audience members who may be considering giving to the foundation? What would you like to say to them today?
Please give. Your gift changes a life, and it will make a difference for that student. And then that student is going to turn around and make a difference in our community. Our students don't go very far. It was a survey, it's on the older side, but they found out like 85% of our alumni, they stay in the service area, and so if you're thinking about making a gift, change a life, give to community college. The impact you will see from your gift will be something you'll never forget. When you come to the scholarship banquet and you get to sit down and meet your student and realize what you've done and the life you've changed, it will be one of the most powerful days of your life. And you'll see, I get very emotional talking about it because it is life changing and course altering. It can change the course of their lives. I mean, some of our students come in here thinking they are not going to make it through. They'll end up at McDonald's for the rest of their life, which there is nothing wrong with living at McDonald's. But when they come here, they realize that, okay, somebody believed in them enough to give them a scholarship. I'm going to show them how much it was worth to them. And so now they are getting a welding degree and are making double what you and I make, RV, down in, off the coast doing underwater welding. A scholarship to these students, they know that they have someone in their corner who believes in them. And for a lot of our students, it is that support and knowing that someone's got your back, which is going to get them through. Education is it's an economic driver in our community, as shown by all of the expansion we're having in our countries, but it's also an equalizer. If we want to make sure folks have the same, equity, education brings equity. And so that's what I want to tell folks, is that just do it. If you were hesitating at all, don't. Please give. Please change a life, and please help our students. These students here, the ones I get to interact with often, they are worth every single penny. They are incredible. They are thoughtful. They are caring, and they're amazing. So do it. Don't hesitate. Just do it. I sound like a 90s commercial now, RV.
Oh, that's wonderful. And to those of you who have given to Central Carolina Community College Foundation, thank you. Thank you for helping others to succeed in life. And for those who may be considering giving to the foundation, please give it some serious thought on how you can help to make a difference in the lives of others. You can learn more about the CCCC Foundation and how you can give by visiting the CCCC website at www.cccc.edu/foundation. Or you can contact Dr. Hare at ehare, that is EHARE, at cccc.edu. Well, Dr. Hare, thank you for your time today. And viewers, thank you for being with us today on 4C Visions.